Mamdani's pick to be the FDNY's new commissioner sounds like a DEI hire.
I am so proud to announce that I will be appointing Lillian Bonsignor as the fire commissioner of FDNY, overseeing over 11,000 uniformed firefighters, 4,500 EMTs, and over 2,000 civilian employees. I am proud that Lillian will make history too, as the first openly gay person to head up the department.
There's just one big problem. Bonsignor has never served as a firefighter. Instead, she was the EMS chief during COVID. Now, Elon Musk is calling out Mamdani for the move, saying people will die from this decision. But Mamdani pushed back on Musk and doubled down on his choice, saying the majority of FDNY calls are EMS related. Tom, I honestly thought that this quote from Mamdani about this hire was a parody. He said, although she has never served as a firefighter, she is confident that won't matter. How could that not matter? It's such an important job. You would think that maybe a little bit of experience would be a requirement here.
Yeah, and was he trying to cover himself there? Because he didn't say, I'm sure she'll do just fine. He said, she's sure she'll do just fine. So we're putting our trust in her. I was just thinking, the people who elected Mamdani, they got here to New York like last June. I mean, it's the youngest New Yorkers. So I was talking about Giuliani on yesterday's show, the transformation of the city under Giuliani. They don't even remember Bloomberg. So they came into a city that was badly run, and they had the Roosevelt Hotel taken over by migrants. And now Mamdani's going to come in. So how are they going to know? You know, I know he's not going to improve the city. How bad can it get? Will they notice?
Not if they're continuing to get free stuff, which is why they voted for Mamdani in the first place. Tommy, I see this as not just a resurgence of DEI. I don't think that DEI ever went away. Even after November's election results, you know, many of us thought, oh, well, wokeism is on the way out. I don't think that that's the case at all. I think that the leftists, including Mamdani, are just sort of waiting in the shadows, and they're ready to bring it right back as soon as they're back in power.
They don't need to wait in the shadows when you're in a blue city hellhole. You can just be really forthright about it, right? Here's the thing. I don't really care what her orientation is, what she identifies as, who she, canoodles with. I could not care less, right? I don't care about any of that stuff. What I care about is you're able to do the job. And when you introduce somebody to me and you say that they're the first insert here, that tells me that their identity or whatever they purport to be is more important to you than their ability to do the job. So when we call people a DEI hire, it's not because we just decided that, it's because that's how you introduce them to us. So it's showing me that that's what you place the importance on, and that's why you have the rest of us sitting at the table thinking, you know what, I'm not so sure this person can do the job, because that's not what you told us about their great experience and all their accolades and their abilities. You told us who they like to canoodle with.
Joey, I want to throw this up on the screen. It's an example of other instances where DEI has failed fire departments. And I think it's important because, as Elon Musk noted, this is a very important job, and people could very well die as a result of decisions like this.
Yeah, so I sent this to the producers. I'm pretty passionate about this. So I've got two members of my family that are chiefs in fire. One's recently retired. So we've talked a lot about this. We talked about this after the fires in L.A. when you had 3 gay women in charge of the L.A. Fire Department. And the quote back to me was, I know women firefighters. I know gay women firefighters that are great. How many firefighters are gay women? And you're telling me in all of Los Angeles, it's the 3 gay women that make it to the top. That just happens to be an anomaly? No, they were put there for DEI. That's the problem. And you saw what happened in the Pacific Palisades. Not blaming them, just saying when you have a diversity officer that says, if I can't carry you, that's your fault because of whatever reason, I can't remember exactly what it was she said, then your leadership's probably in the bad spot. When you move over to the fire chief in Austin, he's a black man. Charlie Kirk said something about that, and there was kind of a discussion about it. But when you get into the weeds and you talk to the folks in Atlanta where he was fire chief before Austin, that's exactly what they said. It wasn't that he was a good leader. He was a great yes man to Democrat politicians, and that was the problem. So what happens? You have the floods in Texas, and he refuses to send the proper help from Austin down there because of some financial dispute. Didn't do the right thing. So it can creep in and it can kill people. The New York City Fire Department is the gold standard when it comes to actually fighting fire. I don't care if it's 20% of what they do or 50% of what they do. This is a city that uniquely has stuff catch on fire and people need to be rescued. I saw it happen across the street from a restaurant where I was at last year. And to say that that's not important to the person in charge of the fire department because it's not the majority of calls they go on, that's absolutely insane to me. And if that's the type of leadership you're bringing into this city, I'm going to ask to be on the first floor of every hotel I stay in from now on. Because this is you're not going to lose firefighters the same way you do in other municipalities because this city can afford to pay them to be firefighters full time. But if you took that approach to any small town where firefighters have to go be painters and electricians and other things on their day off, then they would leave because they would not go risk their lives 1 out of every 3 days for somebody who doesn't care of what they do for a living.
Leftism has consequences, and unfortunately, sometimes they are deadly. Well,
hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.